The Other, Frankenstein's monster, zombies, the mist, monsters, entities, liminal spaces. The other in horror is the thing, the threat looming in the darkness, the thing we can't fully identify with, the thing that's out to get us. The other is the term in literature for the opposition of the protagonist in horror. In The Exorcist, it's the demon Pazuzu. In Five Nights at Freddy's, it's the animatronics or William Afton, depending on the perspective. In Dracula, it's Dracula himself. Horror takes many different forms. Over the years, media has taught us to fear the other, but also to try and identify and empathise with it. ARGs are known for being particularly mysterious. Older ARGs were often more interactive. They would utilise hidden codes, encrypted data and hidden messages in order to force viewers or players to piece a story together. Modern ARGs, especially those on YouTube, are a little less interactive. They often present a narrative to the viewer, and the height of the interactivity usually comes from the community theorising and discovering lore together. Many ARGs utilise the concept of the other by keeping the other obscured and slowly letting the community piece together who or what the other is. This keeps the monster shrouded in mystery, and as many great horror writers know, mystery breeds imagination, which is often the scariest thing imaginable to viewers. The fatal flaw of this system is the other becomes much less scary and interesting once the community figures it out. More viewers increases the likelihood of the other getting discovered faster. Therefore, the more popular the piece of material is, the faster it gets figured out and the less scary and interesting it becomes. Take Five Nights at Freddy's for example. Obviously that's a video game, not an alternate reality game, but the principle holds true, and much like ARGs, much of the hype around it came from the community theorising together. We know FNAF now for the huge community, expansive lore, and kind of silly characters. I mean, when was the last time Freddy Fazbear was actually scary? For the most part, people either find the animatronics silly or have empathy for them and what they've been through. But when FNAF first came out, it was terrifying. The game was so unique and shrouded in mystery. Golden Freddy sometimes appeared, but so rarely he was like a cryptid. Why would anyone take the night shift here? Why were these animatronics so angry? What did it all mean? The aim of ARGs is to piece together who or what the other is. But once that goal is achieved, interest and fear is lost and we move on to the next thing. It's not a sustainable cycle, but it's a fun journey to go through. My thoughts in this video could apply to most ARGs really. The principle is largely the same. But I want to focus on a subgenre I'm familiar with, Minecraft ARGs. In my last Minecraft video I explained why Minecraft Alpha was so liminal. Similar to Five Nights at Freddy's, as we players discovered all Minecraft has to offer, it no longer feels so eerie without the nostalgia and vast feeling of the alpha version. Minecraft ARGs are becoming more and more popular in the last couple years particularly. Some notable examples include old Minecraft re-uploads, Minecraft Alpha 1.0.16 versions, and a personal favourite of mine, Don't Look at the Moon. I don't pretend to have seen all the Minecraft ARGs, so none of my criticisms are targeted. This is simply a general evaluation of the subgenre. Minecraft is a great candidate for ARGs. It's very well known by the public, an easy game to obtain to make content on, and has a creative mode which is very useful for staging videos. There's also the general creepiness in Minecraft's atmosphere that lends itself very well to horror, and a whole load of urban legends and creepypastas to take inspiration from. The early versions of the game are very often used in ARGs due to their liminality. Last time I'll mention it, but go and watch my other video linked in the description for a deeper analysis on that particular topic. Unfortunately, as with all popular media, tropes have become abundant and Minecraft ARG videos are flooded with comments discussing how stale the formula has become. The main problem with Minecraft ARGs is the very source of the horror itself, the other. The other is so often in these ARGs a Herobrine adjacent entity. Here's a summary of how these ARGs usually play out. A new YouTube channel is formed with a mysterious and vague name. It showcases an older version of Minecraft recorded around 2010. The player shows off his basic Minecraft house. The viewer chuckles at their primitive storage system, remembering the days when they built everything with oak, wood and cobblestone. The player then wanders down to their house's basement, a cave near their house or their strip mine. We see the usual mobs, zombies and creepers, and shake our head remembering the days we'd run away in terror from green faces and skeletons that seem so familiar now. As they traverse the dark area, they accidentally put out a torch, surrounding the area in darkness. That sharp, haunting cave sound pounds, making them whip around in the darkness. There's nothing. You place down the torch, and both the player and viewer sigh in relief, amused at the common Minecraft experience we all shared. The tour continues, but things seem off. You could have sworn there was something in the shadows. The player rounds a corner and runs into a sign with threatening words. This is usually when a Microsoft Paint slide comes in explaining to the viewer that the player didn't put that sign there. The player sprints to the exit, dodging mobs and searching for sunlight. They get out, turning back to the dark in relief. There seems to be no one there, but in the last few frames of the video, there's an unmistakable shuffle in the darkness. Brief, but enough to know it's not a common mob. The series goes on, slowly showing the entity more and more to the player and concocting its backstory. The series hails itself as unique because the monster is not called Herobrine. It has a different name and skin, maybe a different backstory, although usually still a haunting. But the behaviour and scares of the series are completely interchangeable with the classic Herobrine creepypasta. Things in the world look off, there are telltale signs the player is not alone, they're being stalked by an entity, a ghost who seems to ignore the rules of the game. It's a fun formula and it scares you the first couple times, but after that, not so much. The rules are the same, the entity is the same. If the other in one ARG has been discovered, they all have. They may have a different name or be someone else's dead relative or look different, but they're still undoubtedly Herobrine. Herobrine worked due to the time period of its creation, when the internet was wilder and Minecraft was a game made by just some guy who could put anything in there. It was enjoyed by a younger audience and lawless in its creation. It's in my opinion that in 2024 you can't recycle that same breed of fear and distribute it under a different name hundreds of times. In order to analyse Minecraft ARGs, you have to acknowledge how meta it all is. These ARGs are based off of an entity supposedly in a game that went public in 2009. A video of the entity is supposedly taken in around 2010, in the lore at least, just to be edited and uploaded to YouTube around a decade later. Every level of meta you add into horror is another layer separating the entity from the viewer. By this point, the entity is behind bars in solitary confinement, guarded 24/7, with completely no access to the viewer. It makes it harder to fear the other. Therefore, you have to rely on imagery and story to scare the viewer. The imagery in Minecraft can be haunting, but is so often repeated in these videos, it's hard to still feel scared by foggy forests and dark mines all the time. The saving grace is many of these ARGs is the story, which is often compelling and interesting, but very often too similar to Herobrine to be taken as its own product. Someone dies playing Minecraft and their ghost is stuck in the game. A coding bug's created an evil AI that wants to destroy the player. The player has access to a secret version of the game containing unseen mobs. A lot of these ARGs are well edited and have a lot of work to put into them, and I genuinely praise anyone who puts in that amount of dedication and work into their project. I still sometimes feel that these amazing creators would be better putting their skill and talent into fresher ideas. The formula is overworked and not scary anymore, but it is nostalgic and I enjoy rewatching many of the series following the Herobrine formula. But an example of a truly haunting ARG that I enjoy is Don't Look at the Moon. Spoilers if you haven't seen that ARG, and I genuinely recommend you do, but I think the reason the ARG is stuck with so many people is the lack of the other. The ARG uses a much more traditional approach, utilising Reddit, iceberg charts, Google documents and YouTube videos to tell the stories of a player obsessed with the moon in Minecraft, and desperate to show everyone the weird things that happens when you stare at the moon in Minecraft. Nothing happens, the mystery never fades because it's never uncovered, and fails to get boring because of how frantic the player seems in proving his point. The player eventually posts videos of himself in real life, obsessing over the moon, seemingly crazed by his obsession with the moon. There is no other, only his tortured mind. The mystery never fades. The horror feels tangible because the focus moves from just Minecraft into real-life events. The ARG embraces the meta-ness of the genre, showing that our fear of Minecraft may be what actually harms us. I'm not saying we should move on to this formula, that would just push the same problem onto another formula. But this type of multimedia interactive ARG is what I think the community needs more of. Minecraft ARGs could live up to their full potential by utilising more media, changing up the imagery something other than forests and caves, utilising entities less and when using them making them more distinct, and bringing back the interactivity into alternate reality games. There's a reason I get more scared playing Minecraft on my own than listening to ARGs. I know what ARGs will present me with. I know what the monster in the fog is. When playing, I don't know what's out there. Anything could be out there. Anything could be with me on my world. Anything.